Alright, so here's a quick video on how to set up a winch on a FlySky Noble NB4 radio. Here you can see how I've got it set up. Nice little soft start function with time delay. And I'll walk everybody on through how to do this. There's a couple different ways that this can be accomplished. The quick and easy way is to set up just a 3-position switch on the radio. This way's got a few more steps involved, but it does help protect us from accidental winch actuations when we bump the switches that we want to use. So step 1 is to update the firmware on the transmitter. At the time of this video, I'm now on 2.0.93, which is available right from the FlySky website. Once you do that, then you can set up a 3-position switch if you want. Oop, this guy. So we can set these up on a 3-position switch. And that's just the quick and dirty way how to do it. So I've got it set on channel 3 here, or we can toggle that. And just imagine that's your winch pulling in, and then winch paying out. So that'll work, and you can adjust your endpoints to adjust how fast you want your winch to go. But that still leaves us susceptible to bumping these switches and then having a runaway winch condition on us, which could wreck our winch or you know, tie up all your rigging and things like that. So I wanted to have a little bit more of a safeguard on there, so I set it up a little bit differently. Big thanks to WTF-RC videos on YouTube for the tutorial on how to update the firmware, and then a YouTuber called Julian, who had a mix program video that he showed us how to set these up, and then I'm adding another little step to it that I'll walk everybody through. So once you get your firmware updated, to set up that 3-position switch, we'll just go into our settings, go to assign, pick those switches that you want to adjust, and then you want to set it up with the button type of the C button, or continuous I believe that is. And then under type, you can toggle through these and get to a 3-position switch. Under the function, that's whatever channel we want our winch to be operated under, so channel 3 if it's plugged into channel 3 on the receiver. And then you can reverse it if needed, and then that will allow us to get that functionality of having that channel 3 be just a 3-position. To do the time delay soft start method that I have programmed, I'll show you the way that I did that. Every time I do that. Alright, so with the updated firmware, and even with the old firmware, the Noble NB4 could actually do 8 channels. And in order to do this tweak, we need to basically create an 8-channel program inside of here. So we kind of make channels 5 through 8 virtual, and that's accessed underneath this channel number definition screen under the model. And so then we can select 4, 6, or 8 channels. I've just switched it from 4 over to 8. Once you do that, you do have to rebind your receiver. And then that gives us the option to have all of our channels, or those 8 different channels. And so what we're going to do is we'll set up the buttons that we want. So switch 2, which I believe is the rear one here, and then switch 3 is the front. So switch 2, I've got actuating channel 5. I've got it just on a trigger mode, not on turn, because that'll just incrementally creep the servo. Turn basically just turns it all the way. So you want that on turn. And then switch 3. We've got that same thing on channel 6. Oh, I'm sorry, we want the switch 2 on trigger. And switch 3 I have reversed, and switch 2 I have normal. So once we get those switches assigned to channels 5 and 6, Then we're going to program some mixes for them. And we'll access the mixes screen, go to program, and then you'll just need to choose any 2 mixes out of the list. So I just did it under 1 and 2. They're the only mixes I have programmed. So mix 1 here, I've got that on channel 5, which is switch 2, and I want it to actuate the slave channel of channel 3, which is where I have my winch plugged into. And then I'm going to operate that from 0% to 65%. And again, this one is normal orientation, not reversed. So that'll make the servo go from 0 up to 65%. And then once we have that programmed, we just want to turn it on by hitting that little check mark box down at the bottom here. Mix 2, same thing, but we're going to program channel 6 or switch 3 to operate channel 3. And this time we're going to go from 100 to 0% and then turn it on. So that's going to operate the winch the other direction. And I've got it set at 165 on opposite ends just so it pulls in a little bit slower and I can be a little bit more controlled with how I'm winching in. But I can pay out winch line at 100%, go as fast as that little servo can go. So once we get those set, then we're going to go back all the way out and go to our speed adjustment. And so I've got channel 3 with that forward speed set to 1.0 seconds. And that's what gave us that nice little time delay. I'll show you. If I get rid of that, we can watch our input-output graph. Let's see, we might be able to get the winch hook in frame as well here. But when I push on switch 3, it just instantly goes to full speed. So that leaves us susceptible again to bumping the switch or leaning against it, and the winch goes crazy and we can have it break. So we're just going to slow that down. I think 1 second's pretty good. And so now, if I just tap it, repeatedly even, it barely moves. You got to hold it before it really gets into full speed. And you can see on the little bar graph how that actuates. So it's a good way to set up a winch, I think. Nice little safeguard. You can adjust that 65%, higher or lower depending on how you want it, or even do the same thing on the payout side of things. Might be able to tweak with endpoint adjustments on that channel 3. I haven't played with that yet to see if that really works that way, but I think this is good enough for me to try out, and after I crawl with it a few times, we'll see if I need to make any adjustments. So hopefully that helps other people in setting up their winch. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thanks.